very warm welcome to our 10 p.m. news bulletin coming to you from our studios on MDI Road. I am Tenengite, and first the headlines. President Adama Barrow presides over the convocation ceremony of over 1,000 university students. President Barrow travels to Nigeria on Tuesday for a state visit. Rwanda's conservation project imports lions from South Africa to boost the country's tourism sector. And the free agreement between East and Southern African countries deepening trades and scales up economic integration. Well, now viewers, this and more coming ahead. To stay with us, I am Tenengite. But now the news in detail, and thank you for joining us. His Excellency the President, Mr. Adama Barrow, will travel to the Federal Republic of Nigeria for an official visit. The President and delegation will depart Banjul International Airport on Tuesday, 16th January at 6 a.m. Those invited to see him off are requested to be at the airport half an hour before departure for the usual ceremonies. The President and Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, Adama Barrow, has advised students to strive hard to make the Gambia a better place for all. President Barrow was speaking at the 10th convocation ceremony at the University of the Gambia held at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. Seni Marina reports.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, President Adama Barrow, arrived at the convocation ceremony with a message of hope and new aspiration for a greater Gambia where quality and relevant education becomes a hallmark of national development.
I congratulate all graduates and their families for the achievement and success being celebrated today. Convocation is an important milestone in the educational journey of a student, as it marks the end of one stage in the journey through life and the beginning of another.
More than 1,000 students from different faculties of study graduated with various degrees from bachelor's to master's at the University of the Gambia. A proud moment for graduating students as they mark a new beginning in the real world after university education. In the audience, happy and satisfied, parents thankful to witness a remarkable day in their children's lives. President Barrow used the occasion to congratulate the graduates and advise them to serve as good ambassadors for the Gambia. The graduates signified the country's expectations in the new Gambia, according to the President.
As we witness and celebrate the dawn of a new era in Gambian history, we renew our determination in pursuit of human rights and development across our nation. We are conscious of the opportunity and responsibility to promote and uphold the fundamental dignity and equality of all people.
President Adama Barrow and Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, the first president of the Gambia, were conferred honorary degrees in human rights and law for their outstanding contribution towards the strengthening of rule of law and human rights in the Gambia. The Vice Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, Muhammad Ajum, said the UTG will continue to strive for excellence in providing quality and timely education.
The University of the Gambia maintains the place as a high-level human resources provider for the nation and a key player in research and consultancy for development activities. It is certainly not noteworthy and heartwarming that our efforts in this regard have started to yield positive results.
Mr. Matthew Pimdur is the chairman of the University Interim Governing Council.
We want to invite you to buy into our vision, the University of the Gambia, that targets the local needs of the times, but with a long view of the requirements that will shape the future of our country.
Here, the new graduates tell us about their plans and expectations on life after university.
With this new degree in New Gambia, I'm only looking forward to giving back to my country. As in the saying that to whom much is given, much is expected. And I want to urge all my colleagues, fellow graduates, to continue wherever we may be tomorrow, to never forget about our country, to contribute in any quarter towards the national development.
I feel so happy and, of course, very proud of this particular day because many colleagues are unable to witness it.
Yeah, I hope to give all my best to the community because I understand very well that my education has been sponsored by the Gambia Police Force. For that being the case, it is obliged on me to do all my best to plow back to the community.
After years of hard work, so we are really grateful to the Almighty, and we hope as we studied that at least there will be things will be for the better for the justice system.
Lamin F. Barrow and Ami M. Joe took home the gold medal for overall best graduating students. Medals were also awarded to outstanding students who excel in extracurricular activities at the University of the Gambia. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Seni M.K. Marina.
Meanwhile, the Office of the President would like to thank the University of the Gambia for conferring on the President the Doctor of Law and Human Rights. While in appreciation of the honor, the Office of the President informs the public that the President would like to be called Mr. Adama Barrow. And now, the Managing Director of Gamtel, Suleiman Suso, has appeared for the first time before the Commission of Inquiry investigating the financial dealing of former President Jammeh. Babakar Kamara was following proceedings and he now reports.
This commission,
the evidence that I should give to the commission
shall be the truth, the whole.
It is the oath meant to unearth astonishing revelations by the Managing Director of the Gambia Telecommunications Company Limited, as he faced the Commission of Inquiry, tasked to look into the financial dealings of former President.
There were some connections that were really not very clear to me when I asked regarding connectivity to certain points, certain destinations. But there were suspicions that there are some connections that were done to the office of the President. These connections, were suspicious during those days, and then these were connections to modems that were seen to be, directed to the office of the President in those days.
From one management to another, Gamtel is said to have been privatized by the previous government, with international companies managing its gateway through directives of the former President, a situation that attracted more questions from Commission members.
Do you believe your predecessor had a view that the diversion was wrong for Gamtel?
Well, I did not know. I wouldn't know at that moment because I did not have any discussions with him.
When the attempt to terminate the contract failed and TEL continued, do you have reason to believe there was some change in the background, in the arrangement that existed?
Well, that is my view that because the issue of the monies that were coming to Gamtel, there was, in some instances, there were discussions regarding the monies that were coming into Gamtel, the level of the revenue that was coming into Gamtel was not really adequate.
Management of Access Bank Limited were also summoned to give their evidence before the Commission. Sitting continues.
We'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Babakar Kamara, GRTS.
A news release from the Office of the President states that Cabinet has concluded a two-day meeting on Friday. Members have made presentations on various issues including infrastructural development, agriculture, international relations, tourism, the environment, liberalizing the gateway, and monetary and economic policies, amongst others, security matters. Issues discussed also include the Gambia's participation in regional organizations and the presidency of the ECOWAS Commission. According to the press release from the State House, the Minister of Works, Bailamin Job, gave an update on road construction projects in the Upper River region and the Banjul port. Agriculture Minister Honorable Omar Jallow shared the outcome of a provincial tour to meet farmers and discussed the issues of post-harvest loss reduction and agro-processing held in November 2017. He also shared the joint ministerial meeting on leaders for agriculture with the African Ministers of Agriculture and Finance in the diplomatic front. The release further stated the Minister of Foreign Affairs informed the Cabinet colleagues about the 72nd United Nations General Assembly and his visit to China, as well as the progress made on the Migration for Sustainable Development project with Gambians in the diaspora and their contribution in the new Gambia. For his part, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Hamad Bah, briefed the meeting on his trip to China in September during the World Tourism Forum meant to boost the country's tourism sector. Honorable Bah also highlighted his mission to the Islamic Conference of Cultural Ministers held at the Sudanese capital in Khartoum last November, as well as the stakeholders meeting held in Brussels earlier in October 2017. The release concludes. Now, the Medical Research Council, the Gambia, through its Technon project, on Monday donated equipment worth $50,000 to the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. The gesture is meant to prevent pneumonia death and improve access to oxygen-using solutions. Aissatou Jatta has more in this report.
Development study aimed at identifying optimal prototype specifications to understand and initiate measures for disease control and prevention. Officials intend to develop and encourage field testing in government health facilities.
It's very important to have oxygen available because that can be life-saving for children with pneumonia and according to the Director of Health Services, he thinks he has already seen a major change in terms of risk reduction of mortality in this category of patients.
Pneumonia has been identified as the leading cause of child deaths worldwide. This can be reduced with supplementations, but lack of reliable supplies in sub-Saharan Africa has made it difficult to access resources for intervention.
We've never bought oxygen for the pediatrics. If I am right, mortality related to pneumonia has reduced substantially. So it was a right move. In fact, having that system spark, because the other hospitals are suffering for not having it, like EFSTA spent over $500,000 every month to buy oxygen cylinders from this bank oxygen.
MRC Unity Gambia said, following useful findings from initial field tests using several powered prototypes, a solar-powered prototype was considered an optimal institution to work along with the Gambia government for further testing.
The support and the collaboration of the Ministry of Health, and the Gambian government. So I hope that this will continue. The MRC has a very large portfolio of research, and we are dealing with the health problems that affect the Gambia, but also Sub-Saharan Africa, West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. So this collaboration will hopefully continue, and for the best of the Gambia and other African countries.
Fajara, Farafenye, Soma and Basse are the intended beneficiaries of the Technon project, which officials believe will make a significant difference in saving children's lives. Aissatou Jatta, GRTS.
Youth for Human Rights, the Gambia chapter, a civil society organization, recently presented books to the Human Rights Club of the Gambia Senior Secondary School. The donation was meant to promote the learning and teaching of human rights in schools. Kumaba has the rest.
It was the presentation of human rights books to the Gambia Senior Secondary School. Speaking at the event, the executive director of Mekanyang Kafo, Farmer Jaune, emphasized that the launching is to educate young people and women across the country on human rights issues and their corresponding responsibilities.
Youth for Human Rights, the Gambia, is an advocacy arm of Bekanyang and an affiliate of Youth for Human Rights International USA, headquartered in California. The purpose of Youth for Human Rights International is to teach young people about their rights especially the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and to inspire you to become advocates of tolerance and peace.
The Deputy Permanent Secretary representing the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Adama Jimbo Job, emphasized on the need for people to know their rights, particularly students. A point similarly recounted on by the representative of the principal, Babukar Job, as he received the books on behalf of the school.
I always say the diversity in this country should be used to bring us together, but not to separate us. And that is very fundamental if you people are going to be the holders of responsibility tomorrow. To understand that we must respect, we must accept, we must appreciate, we must tolerate, but we must care for one another.
Reporting for GRTS News, I am Kumaba.
Meanwhile, the Kuyati and gay families in Talinde and Kololi have also been rendered homeless after a serious fire outbreak consumed all their belongings. As the Keita visited the two families and filed in this news report.
This is the latest in a recent wave of fire outbreaks since the start of the year 2018. This shocking fire outbreak has rendered these people homeless. Occupants of the affected household are now left empty-handed without anything to go by, with all their belongings ravaged in the fire. Grief-stricken Sadio Kuyate narrates how the ugly incident happened around 3 p.m. on Sunday, while she was outside chatting with her mother.
My daughter was inside watching TV. I was brewing a tire outside with my mom. She suddenly came out and said, "There is fire in the room." I ran in and went out again to call for help. But all of my belongings were consumed except what I'm wearing.
In another fire outbreak at Kololi, residents of Gekunda family told GRTS the incident started around 1:30 p.m. Family members were chatting outside the house at the time.
I ran inside. It was a little fire, thinking that I could do something about it. But within seconds, it escalated.
Neighbors in the area were hailed for their help in putting out the fire, but the Talindin Fire Brigade was criticized for arriving a little too late. As it stands, what caused the fire in both houses still remains a mystery. Yet it's obvious this family needs support in cash, kind, and whatever help they can get to restore normalcy in their lives. For GRTS News, I am Aisotuket.
Well, with that, we'll take a commercial break. When we return, we take a look at sports. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and now in our local sports. One second-half goal was enough for Gambianos to clinch the Mandina Ring League Cup final. The newly crowned champions defeated Victoria Keflekvik 1-0 to end their long-standing dominance in the Mandina Ring football. Modu Lamin Sane was at the grand final, and he now reports.
The grand final was watched by a multitude of fans from across the community. Gambinos took control of the game from start to finish, making several attempts to open the score in the first half, but failed to unlock the Keflavik defense. Victoria Keflavik were pinned back by their opponents and were limited to few chances on counter. And when the second half resumed, Gambinos continued pressing for the opening goal. Their dominance in the game was rewarded in the dying minute after striker Ibrahim Ajaju was brought down in the 18-yard box by Keflavik goalkeeper. Gambinos player called Modu Ture was quickly introduced, and he took responsibility of taking the spot kick. He scored the decisive winner.
Except tonight, it's exceptional, There have been so many rumors going around, will this, will that, you know, in that terminology, and all those things, exceptional. The boys put up a performance I like, I put up a performance too, it's just exceptional. It's just.
This victory also shows history here, breaking the record of reigning champions, that's Cape Lapik. How does it mean for you?
Yeah, all due respect to Cape Lapik, they have been doing just exceptionally well throughout the course of these 3 years. So, I give them all the due respect, actually. But today, I'm just overwhelmed with my boys. They put up a performance. They put up a champion performance, It's just overwhelming.
Are you disappointed?
Well, I'm not disappointed. That is football. I have to take it in good faith. I have been taking trophies for 3 years, 3 consecutive years. So losing this one, I'm not discouraged. That is football. I've been doing it. Now I have lost. I have taken it in good faith.
The final marked the end of the football season in Maninaring under the guidance of the interim committee.
Before we start this tournament, we said that it's going to be an interim committee, and we are only serving for only 1 year. And as we said, we're going to keep on our promise that we are going to call for Congress. So we are just waiting for this final, and we've played this final. So we now going back to the drawing board so that we can mobilize each other again and come back and call for this Congress, and we'll hand over the mantle to the young ones.
It was a special achievement for Gambinos after a long period of wait to be crowned champions of Maninaring. Reporting for GRTS Sports, I am Mudlamin Sane.
But indeed, that is football. With that, viewers will take another break. When we return, we'll take a look at news from beyond our borders. To stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back, and now to news from beyond our borders. It's been almost 3 years since Rwanda began an ambitious conservation project importing lions. 7 of the cats flew in from South Africa to resettle in Rwanda's biggest national park. 2 males were added late last year, and they have been very busy since then. Was the ETN's Balde Kaleris went on their trail and now reports.
After the mountain gorilla, this park is one of Rwanda's greatest natural assets. Akagera is home to 10 lakes, more than 300 species of bird, and a few other beasts too. And a rewilding project that has surpassed all expectations. 5 female lions and 2 males arrived here from South Africa in June 2015. Their numbers have more than tripled since then, and that's despite an early setback.
They're comfortable. We're fortunate in our first year we only lost 1, but that was purely due to attacking a big prey base, a buffalo, and getting injured. So 24 now, it's growing rapidly, and they're forming small prides.
The original lion population here numbered maybe 300. But they died out in the 1990s, largely due to human-wildlife conflict. Now, park officials are taking care to ensure the big cats stay out of trouble.
Obviously, we want to bring lions back because they used to be here, but we also have to recognize we're an island, we're surrounded by people and lakes, and there's only so many lions we can have, so we have to be aware of their growth and how to manage that as well.
This park is an example of how lions can adapt and coexist with other animals, but it's also an example of what happens when conservation and communities work together to create a sustainable environment.
The benefits are feeding back to local residents. Tourist numbers to Akagera have soared.
We have get the big number of the tourists visiting the park, like by 2015. That's when the whole year the tourists visited the park. They were about 25,000 tourists. And also last year of 2017, the people were about 36,000 tourists. So that was a big thing. Like the lions, also the rhinoceros. Yeah, so that's why we are getting the big numbers of the tourists. So like when the park, the general income of the year, the locals they give the 10% of the money paid by the tourists. So means we get much money, we get more tourists, more the locals they benefit from the park. And also, what I can tell you is that by now about 95% of the people walking to the park, they are all from the local areas, which is good.
It's still early days, but the South African Lions have made Rwanda their new home, and in time, this park will be their new domain. Voldicarosa, CGTN, Akagera Park, Rwanda.
Sindiso Ngaweya has been elected as the new chief of the Tripartite Free Trade Area Task Force. The Tripartite Free Trade Area, launched in 2015, is an ambitious project to unify the main three economic groups, namely COMESA, SADC and EAC, into one free market with a population of 600 million people and a GDP that exceeds $1 trillion.
Not to bring the government together. My first priority is to